Controversial Gatundu South legislator Moses Kuria has reappeared. I'm telling you, Kenyan politics, very complicated. Honorable Kuria reappeared as if by magic on Sunday after friends had reported that he was missing on Friday. And his explanation was super fascinating. Yeah, it had something to do with Kariobangi. And we're going to dive into that in a minute. Also today, in a separate video, we will analyze Raila Odinga's very interesting remarks about Tanzanian President John Pombe Magufuli. Raila and Magufuli have always been very tight, very close friends, until the run-up to the 2017 general elections, when things appear to have changed between the two very close buddies. A thorough analysis of that will appear in a few hours on this channel, so look out for it. And if you happen to view this video a few hours after it has been posted, you'll be able to see a link to that particular video on the top right-hand corner of your screens at the tail end of this video, and even in the description area for those with mobile devices. Right, Moses Kuria. Now on Friday, Moses Kuria's friends and his family sent all of us into a panic. They reported that the Gatundu South legislator was missing. They couldn't find him anywhere. And Team Tangatanga appeared to have taken full advantage of this development. Dennis Itumbi made Kenyans even more scared by announcing that Kuria was in fact a marked man, insinuating that there were many people who were seeking to do harm to the legislator. Now, in my view, there are things you can joke about, and there are other things you should never joke about. A human being's personal safety is off bounds, for jokes, pranks, tricks, etc., etc. Now, when I was informed of Moses Kuria's disappearance, I was very concerned, and I immediately swung into action. Because even if I don't agree with his political views, Honorable Kuria is a Kenyan, and his safety is important. Indeed, I would pray for Almighty God to keep him, for a long time. In fact, up to over 100 years old, if possible. Give him enough time, to change his approach to life and to politics. But immediately, I noticed there was something wrong. The usual panic, amongst those who are close to a person who has vanished, was missing. Some people I asked, who should know these things, were non-committal. Now in Kenya, when somebody who should know is non-committal, it usually means one of two things. Either they're scared, that talking about this person will get them into trouble, maybe even lose them their jobs. Or it could mean that they know where that person is. In this case, although I couldn't tell which of the two it was, the behavior of his friends and close family members forced me to the conclusion that he was hiding away somewhere. And I relaxed, despite many emails in my inbox asking me, where's Moses Kuria? And why am I ignoring the disappearance of a prominent politician? And so he reemerges on Sunday. And this was his story. He went to Kariobangi. I'm sure we're all aware that the government has demolished structures, homes of some Kenyan families in the area. Over 5,000 of them are homeless now. And these are disadvantaged members of society. Moses Kuria, of course, is not their member of parliament, but he went there as a concerned Kenyan, which is okay. But he says, immediately he left the area, with others, he noticed that there were 3 vehicles tailing him. And he quickly concluded that he was about to be arrested. And he didn't fancy the idea of spending a whole weekend behind bars. So he went into hiding. Switched off his phone and everything. It was as simple as that. Now in my view, this was not right. Because you can still go into hiding, but inform people you're okay. Without trying to create drama, anxiety over Kenyans. This is not right. Indeed, this perfectly illustrates the caliber of our leaders in Kenya. Always thinking about themselves. And the only time when it seems that they're thinking about the people who elected them, the ordinary wananchi, it is for political reason, for political mileage. It is not selfless at all. Especially now, when millions of Kenyans are suffering, and the politicians are quiet. They're not saying anything. Or what they have to say has got nothing to do with the suffering of the vast majority of Kenyans. Instead, it is about names being sneaked into a committee of a political party. It is about 2022 politics. It is about the Uhuru Kenyatta succession. It is about a government of national unity. Oh boy. Oh boy. God Almighty, remember the long-suffering Kenyan people. And now, it is about the fake disappearance of a legislator. These are our leaders in action. When some Mzungus, with their Mzungu disease, created in a lab in China somewhere, coming to wreak havoc in the country called Kenya, coming to destroy livelihoods and incomes and causing massive hunger amongst the Kenyan population. No Kenyan leader wants to talk about that. And when they're forced to, in a BBC interview, where some journalist asks them a question, they focus on criticizing another African leader. An African leader who is more concerned about his people and their well-being. They demonize President John Pombe Magufuli, who is one of the few African leaders who is concerned about what really matters about the people who elected him. And we are talking basics here. Food on the table, livelihood, etc., etc. In other words, the clear message here is that these Kenyan leaders don't want a genuine leader who cares about his people. They don't want that. They want leaders who toe the line, who toe the Mzungu line. Does the Mzungu really know what is happening on the ground in Africa? Does the Mzungu really know what your constituents, you being an African leader, are going through? And please, let us put politics aside. We are talking about the basic welfare, basic needs of Africans on the ground, of Kenyans, on the ground. Even many of the leaders that have condemned the demolishing of houses that have left countless Kenyans homeless, even those leaders have done it for political mileage. Because I've not seen them at Kariobangi, many of them. None of them have made any donations towards those families who are suffering. In the cold, in the rain, because it's raining a lot in Africa right now. Indeed, even as I make this recording, you can hear rain in the background. It's a blessing. Although this time round, too much of it has come, causing floods and even more suffering amongst Kenyans. And those issues, the suffering of Kenyans, is not in the headlines. Instead, what do we see in the headlines? Updates of a dangerous disease that has killed only around 30 Kenyans in 2 months. What? I think it is safe to say we don't have any leaders in Kenya. We don't. We are on our own. And if you can't see the writing on the wall, I really pity you. Imagine, people can come in front of TV cameras and say that they've spent 4 million on chai and mandazis, tea and mandazis. And in the same report, yeah, in a newspaper, for instance. There's also a report about Kenyans stuck with huge bills when they're put on forced quarantine. Yeah, the quarantine is forced, but you have to pay. Well, the government has backtracked on that. Yeah, after pressure, not from the mainstream media, from social media. On the same newspaper reporting the 4 million expenditure is also the story of a mother in Mombasa who had to boil stones to trick her children into sleeping without eating. Put stones in the sufuria, put some water, yeah, cover it carefully, tell the children the food is cooking. Yeah, can they please take a nap as the food gets ready? You know, I was once told a story by my grandmother that in the old days, when there was hunger, they would take the skin of an animal, usually a cow or a goat, and put it in the sufuria and boil it, yeah, and then tell the children to take a nap while the food gets ready. And that was during colonial times. Today, we are supposed to have leaders who are supposed to be concerned about what we're going through, so that when they're interviewed in the press, they can talk about nothing else except the plight of their people. But no, they will talk about themselves. They will talk about their disappearances. And they will not forget to criticize an African leader, yeah, who is trying to care for his people. Folks, I think if we're going to change anything in Africa, we will have to start by changing the caliber of leaders we have. I think a mama mboga who never went to school even one day but is caring would do much better as a leader, yeah, than these very educated people who speak English through their noses. And they're just fake. They're not leaders. They don't even qualify to be called colonial administrators. Yeah, you know, the new colonial masters are our own people, blacks. They don't qualify even to be called colonial administrators. Colonial administrators before them did much better, although they were colonizing us. And that is the truth. Anyway, what Moses Kuria did was not right, even for himself. Supposing tomorrow there's a real emergency, who will take him seriously? Did he think of that? You know, that's the problem with a prank. You can play a prank, get a good laugh out of it, enjoy yourself, get very excited. But tomorrow, you're going to be in real danger. And people will think it's just another prank from you. After all, you've done it before. Oh boy. I don't know what to say. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.